The cosmic crossroads. The endless white expanse of Europa stretched before Nolan Reyes like a blank canvas of frozen possibility. His breath fogged the reinforced viewport of the research outpost, creating a temporary cloud that quickly dissipated in the carefully regulated atmosphere. Outside, the icy surface of Jupiter's moon glimmered under the distant sunlight, a deceptive beauty that masked the complex ecosystem lurking beneath kilometers of frozen surface. Nolan adjusted the calibration on his quantum resonance scanner, his fingers moving with the practiced precision of someone who had spent more years with machines than with people. At 38, he was a veteran of interstellar geological research, a specialist in extracting secrets from the most unforgiving environments humanity had ever explored. The research outpost, Artemis Base, was a marvel of engineering. Nestled deep within a reinforced cavern, it represented humanity's most advanced scientific installation in the outer solar system. 6 researchers called this place home, each selected not just for their scientific brilliance, but for their psychological resilience. Isolation was more than a physical condition out here, it was a state of mind. A sudden ping from the communication console broke the monotonous hum of equipment. Nolan frowned. Standard communication protocols didn't typically interrupt the quiet rhythm of their research. He approached the console, noting the unusual transmission signature. Incoming quantum-encrypted signal, the computer's neutral voice announced. Most researchers would have felt a surge of excitement. Nolan felt only a clinical curiosity. He had seen too many anomalies, investigated too many mysterious signals to be easily impressed. Yet, something about this transmission felt different. The encryption wasn't any standard human format, not Earth Alliance, not United Nations SpaceExploration, not even the experimental protocols from the Deep Space Research divisions. This was something else entirely. As he began to decode the signal, fragmented images started to appear on the holographic display. Crystalline structures that seemed to pulse with an internal light. Geometric patterns that defied conventional mathematical understanding. Glimpses of something that was simultaneously technological and organic. Computer, Nolan spoke quietly, analyze transmission origin. The artificial intelligence hummed for several moments. Unable to determine precise origin. Signal demonstrates quantum entanglement characteristics beyond current human technological capabilities. A chill ran down Nolan's spine that had nothing to do with Europa's frigid environment. Quantum entanglement signals that couldn't be traced typically meant one thing in scientific circles: first contact potential. His mind raced through potential scenarios. Was this a genuine attempt at communication? A sophisticated technological probe? Or something far more complex? The research team would need to be informed. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the lead xenobiologist, would want to analyze every microsecond of this transmission. Dr. Michael Kim, their quantum physics expert, would be equally fascinated. But something in Nolan's instincts told him to wait. To observe. To understand before raising alarm. Another burst of the transmission revealed more intricate details. The crystalline structures seemed to be some form of biological communication method, a language written in quantum frequencies rather than traditional electromagnetic waves. Translate, Nolan commanded the computer. Silence. Then, a single phrase materialized on the screen, written in what appeared to be a hybrid of mathematical equations and visual poetry. Genetic compatibility assessment, initialization sequence commencing. Nolan felt his heart rate increase. Whatever this transmission represented, it was far beyond a simple hello from an unknown civilization. This was a systemic, calculated approach to something much larger. And humanity was about to be pulled into a cosmic dance it might not be prepared to understand. The research outpost continued its quiet hum, oblivious to the potential revolution about to unfold. Outside, Europa's icy surface remained unchanged, holding its secrets close, for now. Diplomatic tensions. The United Earth diplomatic station orbiting Neptune was a marvel of human engineering and political compromise. Sleek titanium corridors intersected with holographic communication centers, where the most complex conversations in human history were negotiated daily. At the heart of this orbital hub sat Zara Kincaid, her fingers dancing across quantum communication interfaces that most humans could barely comprehend. Unlike traditional communication specialists, Zara was a quantum linguist, a rare breed of expert who understood communication not just as an exchange of words, but as a complex mathematical and biological phenomenon. Her dark skin was illuminated by the soft blue glow of multiple holographic displays, each representing a different interstellar communication channel. Something had changed in the last 72 hours. The quantum communication networks were experiencing anomalies that defied standard explanation. Subtle shifts in background radiation, microscopic variations in quantum entanglement patterns, and unexplained signal harmonics that seemed to whisper of something beyond human understanding. "Director Williamson," Zara called out, her voice steady despite the underlying tension, "we have a situation developing that requires immediate attention." Marcus Williamson, a veteran of interstellar diplomacy, approached her station. At 55, he had negotiated treaties with 3 different alien civilizations and survived political landscapes that would have crushed lesser diplomats. "Show me," he commanded. Zara brought up a series of complex visualizations. Quantum wave patterns that seemed to pulse with an almost organic rhythm. Mathematical sequences that twisted and transformed, revealing glimpses of something that existed between information and pure potential. "These signals," she explained, "they're not random. They're a form of communication, but not like anything we've ever encountered. It's as if someone, or something, is conducting a systematic scan of our communication infrastructure." Williamson's experienced eyes narrowed. "Scanning? For what purpose?" Before Zara could respond, an alert flashed across her primary display. A transmission had been received at the Artemis Base Research Outpost on Europa, a location that should have been isolated from standard communication networks. "Sir," Zara's voice carried a mix of professional calm and underlying excitement, "we're detecting a quantum-encrypted transmission that seems to have bypassed all our standard communication protocols." The implications were staggering. For a transmission to reach Europa's research station without triggering any standard alert systems meant whoever, or whatever, was sending it possessed technological capabilities far beyond current human understanding. Williamson leaned closer to the display. "Can you trace the origin?" Zara's fingers moved with practiced precision. "Negative. The transmission demonstrates quantum entanglement characteristics that make traditional tracing impossible. It's as if the message exists simultaneously everywhere and nowhere." A chill ran through the diplomatic station. First contact scenarios had been war-gamed, simulated, and prepared for decades. But this felt different. This wasn't a straightforward communication attempt. This was something more calculated, more systemic. "We need to contact the Artemis Base research team," Williamson decided. "Specifically, we need to speak with Nolan Reyes. If anyone can make sense of this transmission, it'll be him." Zara pulled up Reyes' personnel file. Astrogeologist. Quantum detection specialist. Someone who had made a career of finding signals in the noise of cosmic background radiation. "Preparing quantum communication channel," she announced, her fingers flying across the interface. What they didn't know, what they couldn't have predicted, was that the transmission was more than just a message. It was a probe. A systematic exploration of human communication capabilities. And with each passing moment, something was learning. Calculating. Preparing. The first phase of an encounter that would reshape human understanding was already in motion. Survival's delicate balance. The Horizon Nexus was not a typical research facility. Suspended in the void between Mars and the asteroid belt, this artificial habitat represented the pinnacle of human scientific collaboration, a neutral ground where the most complex biological mysteries could be explored without planetary restrictions. Dr. Imani Okoro stood before a massive holographic display, her fingers tracing the intricate patterns of genetic sequences that seemed to defy conventional understanding. At 42, she was a pioneer in xenobiology, a field that existed at the razor's edge between human scientific knowledge and the vast unknown of cosmic life. The transmission intercepted from the Europa research base had arrived 3 days ago. What initially appeared to be a simple quantum signal had revealed itself to be something far more complex, a genetic probe that seemed to be searching, analyzing, comparing. "This isn't just a message," Imani muttered to herself, "this is a systematic genetic assessment." Her primary research assistant, Dr. Victor Reiner, approached with a tablet filled with preliminary analysis. "The quantum encryption is unlike anything in our databases," he said, his voice a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "It's like the signal is alive, adapting with each moment of analysis." The holographic display shifted, revealing complex molecular structures that seemed to pulse with an internal rhythm. Genetic markers that didn't conform to any known biological classification appeared and disappeared, leaving behind ghostly impressions of something fundamentally different. "We're dealing with a form of communication that transcends traditional biological understanding," Imani explained, more to herself than to Victor. "This isn't just a message. It's a living algorithm of genetic potential." The Horizon Nexus hummed around them, a testament to human ingenuity. Multiple research teams from different disciplines worked in carefully isolated sections, each pursuing their own lines of investigation. But this transmission had become the focal point of nearly every research group. A priority communication channel blinked to life. Zara Kincaid from the United Earth Diplomatic Station appeared, her holographic image slightly distorted by the quantum communication protocols. "Dr. Okoro," Zara began, "we need your immediate assessment of the transmission received at the Artemis base." Imani's eyes narrowed. "It's more than a transmission. It's a genetic exploration protocol. Whoever, or whatever, sent this is conducting a comprehensive assessment of biological compatibility." "Compatibility for what?" Victor interjected, voicing the question that hung in the air. The holographic display began to reconstruct potential genetic scenarios. Hybrid molecular structures that merged human genetic markers with unknown cosmic sequences. It was as if the transmission was testing, probing, searching for something specific within human genetic potential. "Survival," Imani whispered, a chill running down her spine. "This isn't just communication. This is about genetic survival." The implications were staggering. A civilization so advanced that it could transmit genetic information across vast cosmic distances. A probe that wasn't just gathering information, but actively assessing the potential for some form of genetic integration or preservation. Victor's hand trembled slightly as he brought up additional data layers. "The signal is creating predictive genetic models. It's like it's trying to understand our potential for adaptation." Zara's holographic image leaned forward. "We need to connect this with Nolan Reyes' initial findings from the Artemis base. Something triggered this transmission, and we need to understand what." As if in response, the holographic display suddenly expanded. New genetic sequences began to form, complex, beautiful, terrifying. It was a visual representation of a conversation happening at a molecular level, a dialogue of genetic potential that humans were only beginning to understand. "We're being evaluated," Imani said quietly, her voice carrying the weight of a profound realization. "Not as individuals. Not even as a species. But as a potential genetic solution to something we can't yet comprehend." The Horizon Nexus continued its quiet hum, a mechanical heartbeat surrounding the researchers as they stood on the precipice of a discovery that would redefine human understanding of life itself. The quantum connection. The experimental research ship Horizon Breaker drifted at the outer edges of the solar system, a technological marvel that pushed the boundaries of human understanding. Its primary research module was less a traditional spacecraft and more a mobile quantum laboratory, designed to explore the most enigmatic corners of physical reality. Marcus Thorne stood before a massive quantum resonance chamber, his weathered hands moving with the precision of a surgeon and the intuition of a prophet. At 47, he was a quantum physicist whose theories had long been considered too radical by mainstream scientific communities. Now, those same theories seem to be the key to understanding the most significant communication event in human history. The transmission is a quantum hologram, Marcus muttered, speaking more to the complex array of equipment around him than to his research assistant, Dr. Elena Rodriguez. But it's not just information. It's a living mathematical construct. Elena watched the quantum displays, her breath catching as impossible patterns emerged and dissolved. It's like the message is writing and rewriting itself with each observation, she said, her voice a mixture of scientific wonder and growing unease. The quantum resonance chamber began to pulse with an internal light that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere simultaneously. Quantum entanglement markers danced across the displays, creating geometric patterns that defied traditional understanding of information transfer. Marcus had spent decades developing a theory of quantum genetic memory, the idea that information could be passed not just through biological reproduction, but through complex quantum interactions that transcended traditional understanding of time and space. Most of his colleagues had dismissed the theory as scientific fantasy. Now, the transmission they were analyzing seemed to be a living proof of his most controversial hypothesis. "We're not just receiving a message," Marcus explained, his eyes never leaving the quantum displays. "We're witnessing a form of communication that exists between information states. It's a living algorithm that adapts, learns, and transforms with each moment of observation." The ship's communication system suddenly crackled to life. Zara Kincaid's voice cut through the quantum noise, carrying a sense of urgency that immediately caught Marcus's attention. "We've confirmed similar quantum signatures from the Artemis Base Research Outpost and the Horizon Nexus Biological Research Facility," she reported. "Whatever is sending this transmission is creating a multi-point quantum network that seems to be gathering information from different human research centers." Marcus's mind raced. This wasn't just a transmission. It was a systematic exploration of human potential, using quantum mechanics as its primary language of communication. "The transmission is creating quantum bridges," he said, more to himself than to anyone else. "It's not just sending information. It's creating pathways of potential interaction." Elena brought up additional data layers. Genetic markers intertwined with quantum probability waves, creating complex mathematical representations that seem to pulse with a form of living intelligence. "It's like the transmission is trying to understand us," Elena whispered. "Not just our biology, but our potential for adaptation, for survival." Marcus nodded, a chill running down his spine. The quantum displays continued their mesmerizing dance, revealing glimpses of a communication method so advanced it bordered on a form of cosmic consciousness. "We're being evaluated," Marcus said quietly. "Not as individuals. Not even as a species. But as a quantum potential. A living solution to some cosmic problem we can't yet comprehend." The Horizon Breaker continued its silent drift at the solar system's edge, a sentinel witnessing the first true moment of cosmic communication in human history. The quantum resonance chamber continued to pulse, its internal light a beacon of an understanding that was just beginning to unfold. The fate of two civilizations. The quantum convergence chamber was unlike anything humanity had ever constructed. Located at the heart of the United Earth's most secure research facility, it represented the culmination of decades of scientific innovation, a space where multiple quantum realities could be observed simultaneously. Nolan Reyes, Zara Kincaid, Dr. Imani Okoro, and Marcus Thorne stood together, united by a transmission that had fundamentally altered human understanding of communication, biology, and existence itself. "We're not looking at a traditional first contact scenario," Marcus explained, his quantum displays painting the room with intricate geometric patterns of light and information. This is something far more complex. A systemic exploration of human potential across multiple dimensional planes. Zara's communication interfaces flickered with quantum-encrypted signals that seemed to breathe with a life of their own. The transmission is creating quantum bridges, she confirmed. But it's more than communication. It's a form of genetic assessment that transcends our current understanding of information transfer. Dr. Imani Okoro studied the biological markers dancing across her holographic displays. Genetic sequences twisted and merged, creating hybrid structures that defied traditional understanding of life itself. It's like we're being evaluated, she said quietly. Not just as individuals, or even as a species, but as a potential solution to some cosmic problem. Nolan's geological sensors, modified to detect the most minute quantum variations, picked up something extraordinary. The transmission originated from multiple points simultaneously, he reported. It's as if it exists in a state of quantum superposition, present everywhere and nowhere at the same time. The room fell silent as the full implications became clear. This was not an invasion. This was not a threat. This was something far more profound, a cosmic assessment of humanity's potential for survival, adaptation, and growth. A final burst of quantum information filled the chamber. Mathematical equations that were also genetic blueprints. Communication protocols that were simultaneously a language and a living organism. The transmission began to coalesce into a comprehensible form. "We are the guardians of potential," the quantum message translated. "Your species represents a critical genetic variable in the preservation of cosmic diversity." Marcus stepped forward, his lifetime of research suddenly making sense. "You're not just communicating," he said, addressing the quantum transmission. "You're selecting. Evaluating our potential to survive something catastrophic." The response was immediate. Waves of quantum information washed through the chamber, revealing glimpses of cosmic events, dying stars, collapsing civilizations, the intricate web of life that stretched across unimaginable distances. "Humanity is a genetic key," the transmission continued. "A potential solution to a threat that transcends individual species. Your adaptability. Your resilience. Your capacity for transformation." Dr. Imani Okoro realized the true nature of the transmission. This was more than a message. It was an invitation. A test. A chance for humanity to become something more than they had ever imagined. Zara's communication interfaces began to compile the data. Genetic markers. Quantum potential. Survival strategies that existed beyond traditional biological understanding. "We accept," Nolan said quietly, speaking for humanity. The quantum chamber erupted in a brilliant display of light and information. Humanity's first true moment of cosmic communication had begun, not with conflict, but with a profound recognition of potential. The transmission faded, leaving behind a fundamental truth: in the vast, complex universe, survival was not about individual strength, but about the capacity to adapt, to transform, to become something entirely new.